Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You ever feel like you're surrounded by people, but still feel completely alone? Welcome to the new normal. We are living through the loneliest era in human history. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into the video.
No, but is it actually a connection if there is no room for vulnerability? If you constantly have to wear a mask because you think that is what is going to be the most favorable thing for you to be to this other person? That is not a connection, my friend. That is a performance.
I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but that feeling when you feel like you're alone, and it can't get any lonelier than this, bro.
We've got more ways to connect than ever: FaceTime, DMs, TikToks, Discord servers, dating apps. And yet, people are isolated, depressed, and mentally breaking down. This isn't just a personal problem. This is a global epidemic, and it's killing us silently.
You feel like nobody's there. Despite my family being so close, and they're willing to do whatever, but when you're in that headspace and you're in that dark spot, you feel alone. You feel like nobody's there, nobody cares.
Loneliness is a huge problem right now. Even when people seem like they have it all, they still feel lonely. Why? Because no matter what you do or who you meet, there's one type of connection that's required for a healthy life. And that's the one that you make with yourself. You are the only person that will always be there for you. If you're not there for yourself, you'll feel like no one is. So stop ignoring your own beautiful presence. You have a natural purpose, and the pursuit of your purpose can help fight loneliness. That's because when you embark on that journey, you become what you feel like you need the most. Someone that loves you, cares about you, and understands you. You turn into your best company, your own best friend. Yeah. Embrace self-love, rely on yourself, and you'll never be alone again.
Hello, friend. You have got to stop telling yourself that you are alone. Hear me on a deep, deep soul level. You've got to stop telling yourself that you are alone. If you feel alone on like a deep soul level, like you feel like you're just alone in outer space, just traveling through the cosmos completely by yourself, that is a reality that you are creating for yourself, and that does not have to be true. You are so loved and you are so supported, and there are so many beings and souls that want to love you and are here loving on you. But if you consistently choose to put your fingers in your ear and go into that tiny little cave and go into the darkness and just keep telling yourself you're alone, that's the experience you're going to have.
The question then is, why are we so lonely? If we're more connected, or we have the ability to be more connected than ever, why are we so lonely? MIT sociologist Sherry Turkle once said, "We expect more from technology and less from each other." See, we've substituted connection for communion. We've traded presence for proximity, and it's left us more isolated than ever, despite being able to talk to anyone, anytime, anywhere. What's heartbreaking is that even in the church, even among us gathered here today, I promise you that there is somebody here still often wondering, do I belong here? Would anyone notice if I happened to be gone? Is anyone really walking with me, beside me, in my faith?
What happened to community? What happened to friendships that lasted? What happened to checking in on your neighbor or grabbing lunch with a friend just because? We've replaced real connection with likes, streaks, and fake filters. Everything's digital, shallow, and transactional. People don't call anymore. They don't visit. We ghost each other like it's nothing. And now, millions of people are waking up to silence, scrolling, and soul-crushing emptiness every single day.
You could walk into a room full of people and still feel alone. You could be friends with a lot of people and still feel alone. And I think what's worse than being alone in a trial, hard situation, or a painful season is when everybody around you thinks you're okay and you're not. When everybody around you thinks everything is cool with you, but it's not. It's at that moment when you realize no one really knows you. That hurts more than the situation itself. But at the same time, you have to humble yourself and realize it's not even their fault because they're only perceiving you as the person you portrayed. Most people usually probably portray that, oh, I'm good. Everything's cool with me in the name of, I don't want to get too vulnerable. Well, I'm good. Everything's going to be okay. Or you don't want to feel like a burden. I first have to check myself. Have I portrayed that I'm Superman, that I'm blessed, I'm highly favored? There is a place in your life where you have to recognize you need meaningful relationships. You can't do life alone.
We think that loneliness is driven by how many people we have around us. Loneliness is often driven by how much of ourselves we're able to share. And I certainly know that throughout a lot of my teenage years, I felt like I couldn't share anything with you. So I was always alone. I worked out who you wanted me to be. I became that. I didn't show you who I was. So I was isolated and alone all the time, even though I had a massive, big social circle. And how many times have you been in proximity of people, relationships with people, close to people, and still feel completely alone? How many times have you been in a relationship and think I'm so lonely? You can't communicate. You can't share anything of any value or of any meaning because you're so lost and terrified of who you are and how to share it and how to convey it and wanting to try and avoid conflict, being emotionally responsible, people pleasing. Of course you're lonely. And again, put all of these traits together. Is it any wonder that we've got fucking what we call a mental health crisis?
So your device, it doesn't want something for you, it wants something from you. And part of why we're having this conversation, honestly, is this is life or death stuff for the next generation. 2020, 50,000 people died by suicide. From 2006 to 2016, when all of these devices were introduced into our world and our economy, kids 10 to 17, deaths by suicide rose by 70%. See, they're comparing all of their life to everybody's finely curated lives and connections, saying, I don't have that happiness. I don't have that joy in my life. Why didn't I get to go on that vacation? Why don't I look that happy? We are hardwired by God, designed by our designer for connection, a God who being made in his image means we were being made for connection. He's infinitely connected, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And we were hardwired to be connected. But when we just go to something that just quenches our thirst, but doesn't leave us satisfied, no wonder. We are the most connected generation in all of history, but the most alone generation. Always connected, yet more alone than ever.
Here's my theory about why solo traveling allows for so many deep connections. The answer is vulnerability and an expiration date. When you're traveling the world and meeting people at hostels, you subconsciously know that you might never have to see them again. So therefore, you're your most genuine, authentic version of yourself. You're open. Most people are way more vulnerable. They express their love more. They realize that time is fleeting and they're just trying to make the most of it and trying to enjoy it to the fullest without masking or putting on any facade. And with vulnerability comes authenticity, which allows for real, true, deep connections to develop really quickly. And this is why travel romances are so intense, because you experience so much with this person and you get to know them so quickly and so deeply, and it feels really intimate. But as humans, we're meant to do this on a daily basis. I truly believe we're meant to go out in the streets, not look at our phone, and just talk to people and get to know people. We're not meant to hide our feelings or act cold. We're meant to share and express. Because when you're open and vulnerable, other people feel safe to do so as well. It's like these walls get knocked down and then you can form this beautiful connection with them. I'm already a very open person, so when I travel, I feel like I just make these incredibly deep connections so quickly. Then it sucks because they're always so fleeting. I don't know, it's kind of beautiful though. I feel like parts of my heart are left with so many people in this world. And whether or not I never see them again, I have so much love for them. And I'm just so grateful for the connection.
Loneliness comes from self-centeredness. It doesn't come from the fact that we are alone, because I guarantee you, everyone who feels alone has people in their lives. They just don't want to connect with those people. Loneliness is by choice a state of mind to focus on self, to say, oh, woe is me now. It's a state of depression. Why? Because the first single man didn't say, oh, I'm lonely, give me a woman. Nor was he looking for a woman. So if you're single right now and looking for someone, calm down. God got you. No, seriously, God got you. If you're supposed to be married, then you'll be married. Relax. Don't run into a relationship to find the wrong person. Because I know some people say, well, God brought you. Nah, no. God didn't make that choice for you. That's a lie. Because here's why. Because God doesn't get it right 50% of the time. Hear me. The Bible never says when God finds a wife, he finds a good thing. It says the man who findeth a wife finds a good thing. Not the woman who finds a man, but the man finds a wife, finds a good thing.
I feel so alone. Like, I feel like I have nobody. I feel like I'm alone in this completely. Like, I have to dig myself out of every hole.
Man, I feel this on such a deep level, and I want to look at this from a mental health perspective. The creator goes on to say, he's like, even if I could talk to somebody, even though I can talk to a friend, I'm still going to have to go to work, go to a meeting, go back to my room and deal with this by myself, and I don't know what to do with that. There's two big reasons for this in my estimation. One is this haunting truth that we are alone. We are by ourselves. Nobody else can experience what we can experience. Nobody else can be in our shoes. It is part of the identity journey to learn what it's like to be us, what it's like to be alone in a sense. And even though we are alone, it does not mean we are by ourselves or we have to face things by ourselves. A lot of people feel lonely even when they're surrounded by friends because they're experiencing emotional loneliness. Emotional loneliness is basically the concept we don't have emotional connection with the people in our lives, and it causes us to feel lonely. Even if we talk to issues, we don't feel connected. This issue is actually solvable. We don't have to live there forever. Anybody feels like this, like I get it, I feel you, it sucks. Feeling like you're on your own, and that's part of this haunting mystery of being alive, and know that emotional connection in relationships is possible.
If you ever catch yourself feeling really lonely, just remember that almost everyone is connection deprived. You'll know what I'm talking about if you ever look up in line at a coffee shop. You have a bunch of people gathered together, plenty of opportunity to socialize and connect, and 90% of us are just on our phones. We're on social media being antisocial. The truth is, we're all constantly seeking validation and connection from our devices, but we've forgotten how to get the actual thing. We've forgotten how to connect with real people face to face. I notice this in myself when I see someone working a service job and I think of them just as a waitress or a bartender or a barista. I forget that they're a human with an inner life that's just as rich and complicated and amazing and confusing as mine. It takes me conscious effort to snap back into reality and see what's in front of me. Lately, I've been trying to strike up conversation with more people, just ask questions and leave compliments to people around me. On my flight home for the holidays, I talked to a dad who told me how he had kids really young and it was tough for him when they grew up and he became an empty nester. It reminded me to be grateful for the time I still have to see my parents, and even though it was a super short flight and I totally could have plugged in my headphones and tuned out the whole thing, when I sat down, I made the decision just to say hi. I made a comment about his jacket or something, and it just turned into a short but meaningful conversation that I otherwise wouldn't have had. It's not easy, but it is really simple. If you ever feel isolated or disconnected, just know that you're not alone, and if you take the first step and be the first one to say hello or show some interest, you'd be surprised by how many strangers are happy to do the same thing.
If you've ever felt like you're surrounded by people, but you don't necessarily feel like you have any friends because you're allowing people in your life that do not align to you. Surrounding yourself with people just so you don't feel like you're alone in this world is going to eventually bite you in the butt because you're not surrounding yourself with allies. You're surrounding yourself with people that do not align to you. And that can potentially lead to you getting hurt in the long run. Whether it is constantly feeling misunderstood, constantly being surrounded by people that never listen to you, never hear you, people that don't support you in the things that you do in your life and your goals, people that will eventually betray you. It is so important to learn about yourself to the point where you start to understand what you're looking for in a friend, what you value, what your morals are, what your non-negotiables are, what do you tolerate and what do you not want to tolerate. And if you continue to allow people in your life that violate your non-negotiables, but yet you end up tolerating that, you end up lowering your standards in order to meet something that they lack, you are going to end up hurting yourself in the long run. Because these are people and friends that do not align to you from the start.
If you're feeling lonely, you're not broken. You're not weak. You're just living in a system that's failed you, but you can fight back, one real conversation at a time. Let's stop pretending. Let's start reconnecting, or we'll all go down alone. Drop a comment if you relate. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're feeling alone, just know you're not here. Catch you on the next one.